It's that magical time of the year right before the holiday season where a million games are coming out attacking your wallet at once. Except this time we're in the era of 2 new consoles. A new console generation. Yesterday we did the Series X. Today we're doing the PS5. Oh my god. Look how big this thing is. That's the whole box right there. I pre-ordered mine at GameStop, and it was hilarious watching people walk out with it. I'm shocked that this little handle can carry it. They were warning people to hold it from the bottom. But I just held it using the handle to be a daredevil, and it held. But, I mean, this, yeah, it's big and beefy. So what we're going to do today is just like the Xbox. We're going to hook it up. We're going to check it out. I'll give you my impressions, and hopefully it's as user-friendly as the Series X was. That console was just perfectly designed. It felt just like the Xbox One. I can use all my old controllers. One thing I find interesting already is the fact that the box, they originally advertised this as the 1 terabyte PS5, which you never really get that because the system UI and all the software takes up space. On the actual box, it says 825 gigs, so the box itself is more accurate than the marketing. Once again, just like the Xbox, you've got 8K stamped right here. It's not happening. But yeah, people love those marketing terms. It feels like I'm holding one of those giant DVRs that cable companies give you. Holy crap. That's how big this is. I know there's been a lot of videos online that have already shown it, all the comparison photos and everything that have been released, but until you see this in person and you're holding this thing, it's pretty shocking. I mean, don't get me wrong, at the end of the day, as long as it works okay and plays awesome games, I don't care what it looks like, but that is a bit crazy. I'm sure there were technological reasons it had to be this big, but man, once they have a slim version, I'm definitely getting it, assuming it's not a downgrade. There's the back of it. On the back, you've got 2 USB 3.0 ports, Ethernet, and HDMI and power cord. Pretty basic. Nothing surprising there. Oh, there's another USB here and a USB-C. What I am curious about is how to upgrade the internal hard drive. Because I know with these, once you are able to upgrade the internal hard drive, it's not like the Xbox where it's just a plug-and-play USB. It actually goes inside. Oh. I guess this is the vertical stand in case you want to stand it up, which, yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to. And the controller. I was excited to check this out because they actually changed the overall look and feel of it. It feels kind of weird, to be honest. Couple reasons I say that. I'll have to judge it more when I actually play games. But if we compare it to the DualShock 4, it's actually a bit bigger. As far as the handles, at least. So I don't think it feels as comfortable. But, I mean, it's a new controller, new design, so it'll probably take a little bit getting used to. And I'm sure this is by design, but the buttons feel very, squishy. I mean, it even feels a little bit bigger than the Xbox Series X controller. We've all seen this controller online. You've got your touchpad, you've got the 2 side buttons, everything else is just standard PlayStation fare. Alright, so right now I've got the PS5 on. Unfortunately, I can't really capture the footage of what the setup process is like, because as you can see from the screen there, there's some kind of copy protection notice. I believe the PS5 does have the HDCP protection settings on by default, which is like a copyright infringement protection for like movies and Netflix and stuff. On the PS4, you can go into settings and disable it. PS3, you have to go through an HDMI splitter. Sony's always kind of been a pain in the ass with this, so yeah, that's why you're seeing the screen. Once I actually get into the console, after initial setup, I should be able to tell if you can disable that. Alright, so now I can capture some footage. And it's exactly what I said. Check this out. So, for those that are going to buy a PS5 and are new to streaming, or capturing footage from it, if you go to Settings, and then it's System, HDMI, right here, where it says Enable HDCP. This has to be turned on. If you're going to watch Netflix, Disney Plus, Blu-rays, anything you're watching with copyright protection, you have to have this on. But look what happens. Not going to be able to capture footage that way. you're going to get no signal, then it's going to give you a copy protection notice. So, got to turn that off. Let's go ahead and turn it off again, and there we go. And here is the main area, the dashboard of the PS5. Not too different from the PS4 version at first glance. Everything is just listed in a line going from left to right, and it's separated into two tabs. You've got the Games tab and the Media tab, where all the video apps like Disney Plus and Netflix are stored. First thing I wanted to do was look at the storage. The box advertises over 800 gigs. In reality, you have just over 640 gigs available for use. That is not much at all. And this is fresh without me installing any games so far. And I did run into some hiccups with the PS5 at first, unfortunately. I didn't have any PS5 games downloaded yet, so I wanted to see how my PS4 library was displayed. I took my PS4 external USB hard drive filled with games, I plugged it into the PS5, and in the library section, only a handful of games were showing up. I had no idea why. I don't know if maybe it just takes a while to read it the first time or what, but I returned like 30 minutes later and all my games were there. It just took forever. To be fair, it is a 5 terabyte hard drive filled to the brim with games, so I can't knock it too hard if it took a bit to read it. But at the same time, with the Xbox Series X, everything was there instantly, as if I just booted up my old Xbox One. I tested it again after restarting the PS5, and all my PS4 games were there correctly. Sony reports that backwards compatibility is over 99%, and I tried a couple my PS4 games. I didn't really run into any issues there so far. They work just fine. It's great having my PS4 library available to play without having to switch consoles. Another hiccup I ran into. The first game I wanted to download for PS5 was Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition. Yet every single time I tried downloading it from the PlayStation Store, I kept getting the error, "Can't find what you're looking for." I never figured out why this kept popping up, but just like the other issue I had, I just came back later, and for some reason it started working. One thing I noticed with the dashboard is it feels kind of slow. PS5 has been advertised as this all-around hyper-fast light-speed machine overall, and doing basic things like reading my storage space takes a bit to go in. Just overall performance in general doesn't feel instant like I imagined it would, based on all the hype and advertising. Trophies look like what you'd expect them to, the games are all listed, shows you what console it's for, no surprises there. Within the library, you can sort your games based on console type. One aspect that I absolutely hate, that to me is a huge failure on Sony's part, is the lack of folders. With my huge PS4 library, I had everything organized how I wanted it. I had a folder for PS4 games, VR games, classic arcade games. None of that is here. If I wanted all my Assassin's Creed games, for example, in an Assassin's Creed folder and had them all listed chronologically, I can do that. Sony needs to include this feature again in a future update, and there is no reason to remove it from a next-gen console iteration. Again, this is something the Xbox Series X does have that carried over from the last generation. On the PS5, everything is just splattered in the library tab. And keep in mind, some games do have free PS5 upgrades, similar to Xbox's Smart Delivery. For example, Dead by Daylight prompted me for the upgrade, so I started downloading that. And once I had what I wanted downloaded, and I moved a couple of PS4 games to the internal storage that happened to not fit in my external anymore, I checked the storage again. I can confidently say, without a shadow of a doubt, that storage is going to be a huge problem this generation, at least until SSD storage prices go down. Spider-Man, Devil May Cry 4, Spider-Man Remastered, Mortal Kombat 11, Miles Morales, Dead by Daylight. That's all I have in my internal hard drive. Not that much stuff. And that leaves me with only 307 gigs of storage available. That is nothing, and it's really disappointing. Sure, I can transfer games back and forth, delete them, re-download them as needed, but modern day gaming is about convenience and moving forward with technology, and this is just a hassle. Especially since the PC crowd doesn't have to worry about any of this. Get a massive hard drive and they're good to go. But anyways, all that aside, what truly matters is the games. So I loaded up Spider-Man Remastered, and I'm happy to say it looks amazing. The difference between last gen and this gen is immediately noticeable, but this early on, some games are going to be semi-limited. With this one, you could play in 4K 30 FPS with ray tracing and all the shiny next-gen graphical features, but if you bump it up to 60 FPS, you lose all the extras. No ray tracing, no enhanced lighting, or additional VFX. This is where I really wanted to give the Control a try, and I still feel the same way. It's not necessarily uncomfortable, but I think it's going to take me a bit to get used to. It doesn't have that traditional traditional PlayStation feel. And again, the buttons still feel very squishy to me. And unlike the Series X, you can't use your old PS4 controllers. For PS4 games you can, but not PS5 games. Would have been nice to have the option, but I do expect it's because some games are going to take advantage of the upgraded PS5 Rumble features. I think I'll grow to like this controller in time. I just have to play with it some more, so I'm not going to outright say I hate it. It's just something new and unfamiliar. Overall, that's the initial rundown of my PS5 impressions. The most important thing, of course, are the games, but strictly looking at the console itself and the dashboard and the features, I think the Xbox Series X takes the win here by far. Nothing about the PS5 console itself has made me think, wow, this is next gen. I'm sure given time, my opinion will change. These consoles and the software inside always change significantly as they get updated. But leave me some comments down below on your thoughts, and if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. I'll catch you guys later. Since you made it to the end of this video, I assume you enjoyed it, so why don't you go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any new content. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, links in the description below, and if you'd like to support the channel, you can join my Patreon or become a channel member. This is Fabian, I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.